Hey guys, Ultramaximus back with another Transformers review. This time we're taking a look at another Generations figure for the 30th anniversary of Transformers, and it is the Minicon Assault Team. Yeah, this is kind of a different figure set in the fact that, well, Minicons. And Minicons, if you don't know, are a completely different race of Transformers from Autobots and Decepticons. They appear in Transformers Armada for the first time, and basically it was kind of like a cross between Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z. These little tiny Transformers from Cybertron get shot across the galaxy. I forget how or why, it's been so long since I watched that horrible show. And they end up landing on the moon and on Earth, and all the Transformers were scrambling to find them because they were super powerful, and when they connected with them, the Transformers got more powerful. So the more Minicons you had, the more power that you had. So the toy line, these little mini Transformers, you would click onto the bigger Transformers, and they would unlock some kind of weapon or some kind of ability. This gimmick was later replaced in the Cybertron and Energon series with the Cyber Keys, which pretty much did the same thing. There were, I think, a few Minicons that merged into a bigger robot, which I like the concept. I think it's a good idea. Now, the Minicons are not to be confused with the Micromasters from Generation 1. Those characters were introduced, I believe, in Transformers Zone, and essentially the Transformers got smaller to preserve Energon, basically, I think is the way it went down, and I would presume, in continuity-wise, they would have evolved into the Maximals, the Predacons. Would be my take on it. I don't know. I don't know what the official canon is, but that's the way I always kind of pictured it. So the Minicons, they got a different logo. They've got this little M with the little connector pieces on there, which is kind of cool because in the 30th anniversary logo, instead of an Autobot or Decepticon logo, it's a Minicon logo. So that's pretty cool. And then we've got a picture of the little Minicons in their robot mode. They are combined into their Gestalt form here, which is the size of a deluxe toy, which I kind of like. I believe this character is called Centuritron, according to the back of the package, which is interesting. And, of course, they come with a comic book from IDW. And after looking at the Skywarp comic book, I'm going to presume that it has nothing to do with these Minicons. I don't even know if they'll even be in it. Probably not, because Skywarp was in 2 panels, which was kind of interesting. So, yeah, kind of cool. It's Minicon instead of Autobot or Decepticon, and it's in green. That's a little different. And then we got the Minicon logo, looking really cool. And then this group is number 13 in Series 2. It's at the bottom of the package. Who does it say you can get? Skywarp and Autobot Scoop. I have yet to see an Autobot Scoop. Just picked Skywarp up and really digging him. Very cool stuff. Back of the package. Here we go. Ta-da-ta. So there's the back of the package. Again, Transformers, 30th anniversary. They got the Minicon logo. The Minicons in their vehicle mode. And then, of course, in their combined mode. And I'm presuming that the spec sheet down there is for the combined robot. And there is the bio, if you want to read that. You can. Basically, yeah, I'm presuming his name is Centuritron. Sure. We got Windshear, Heavytread, and Runway. And yeah, they said when they combined that they got the power of 100 warriors. I don't know about that, but definitely kind of goes along with the fact that the Minicons were supposed to be super, super darn powerful, even though they were itty-bitty tiny. And the color scheme on this set is interesting. Very Springer-like. When I first saw it hanging off of the peg, I thought it was a Springer figure. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, what is this? And then I remembered, oh yeah, the Minicons. So let's get these guys out of the package and see what we think of them. Alright, so here we have Centuritron out of package, the Minicon Assault Team, and colors are looking pretty decent. One thing I noticed straight out of the gate, there are some color app issues here. Like on the back of the packaging and on the comic book itself, we see there's some yellow bits here, some yellow bits here, and on the wing set, but when we actually look at the figure, there is no yellow on the wing set, there is no yellow there, and there's no yellow on the guns. That being said, the rest of the paint scheme's actually kind of interesting. It's very militaristic looking. I do like it. But before we look at the figure, let's look at this comic book. And as I suspected, there is no trace of minicons in this book at all. I think they're running out of comic book to tie into characters, so they're just finishing the story arc, would be my assumption. So yeah, he's on the cover, and that's really about it, which is unfortunate. I'd like to get to know the character a little bit more, because it's an interesting idea. I do like it. Looking at the figure, as a gestalt, he's actually pretty decent. He looks very Decepticon-like in his head sculpt. Very interesting. Now, the minicons were pretty much neutral until a Transformer found them. The Decepticons pretty much enslaved them, and the Autobots became like buddies. They were like pets or something. It was very, very strange. Yeah, this guy's very militaristic looking. I'm definitely digging that. And he's about the size of a deluxe figure. Here he is, next to Megatron. So yeah, it's not too bad. It's a pretty decent little size. I just like the fact that it's got 3 smaller robots that turn it into a larger robot. It's an interesting concept, and I think it works better than those horrible Power Core combiners. In fact, this guy looks like he's a better gestalt than the Bruticus set from Fall of Cybertron, to be honest. There are some issues with it. I mean, you can flat out see this little guy's hands. These shoulder bits right here are kind of weak, I think. They could have done a little bit better. His arms are kind of weird right there. And he's got toes. When's the last time you saw a Transformer with toes? It's very strange. The other thing that I'm not particularly caring for is this helicopter piece up here on the top. I mean, it's obviously like the comic book. It shows it there, but it's just really annoying on the figure itself. It'd been nice if this piece would have folded back, or those turned into sword blades or something. So, but yeah, I mean, he's a pretty decent little combination unit. I'm digging him. Here he is in the back. You can see one of the Minicon logos in light green. Yeah, overall, I mean, it's not a bad figure. It's pretty solid. He looks a lot more solid from the back side than he does the front side. So, yeah, there he is, Centuritron. Let's break this guy into his components and see what we think of those. Alright, so here we have the Minicons in their robot modes. And they're okay for little Minicons. I mean, you're not going to get that much articulation out of them. They're pretty decent. Now, I will say, this guy right here, who is, let me see here, who is this guy? So we got Windshear, Runway, and Heavytread. Is that right? Yeah. So Runway, his leg system is out of control crazy to get transformed. I really had to look at the instructions on how to get that little mess together. That was probably the most challenging bit, was getting him to actually get his legs up properly. So that was kind of interesting. Head sculpt's pretty decent, I guess. You know, I like it. Not too bad. Windshear, that's it, the little helicopter guy. He kind of looks like a little bumblebee or something. I don't know, just kind of weird. And then we've got Heavytread over here, who's a stocky dude. Almost has like a knight's helmet thing going on there. And then his head sculpt, it's kind of hard to see, but he's got one eye that's bigger than the other. That really reminds me of Blitzwing in his ice mode, his logical mode in Transformers Animated. So that was kind of interesting. They're all on ball sockets as far as like arms and shoulders and everything goes. Get this guy to stand. There we go. See what they look like behind. Yeah, so there they are. Nothing too terribly spectacular, but pretty decent. Of course, we get the little Minicon logo right there, which is pretty cool. Definitely like the military colors, though. I think they're pretty cool. So let's look at their little vehicle modes and see what we think of that. Alright, so here we have the Minicons in their vehicle modes, and they look pretty decent for little tiny Minicons. The tank, I love the black on the tank. The big black tank is really cool. We get the Minicon logo there. Unfortunately, the turret does not move. It's got this hellacious cow stopper. And then I'm really kind of interested as to what the TVCB1D6 stands for. They all have a designation on them. Here we have Runway. Of course, he's got his little Minicon logo on his wing. VP51LN. And then we've got Windshear over here with his little Minicon logo on top. And then his says 7H37A, which is kind of interesting. And of course, his little rotor blades turn, which are cool. Very neat, very fun. You know, just a nice little military group. I think it's unique. It's a little bit different in the Generations line. I did like the fact that Minicons were brought in. You know, I like how they turn it into a deluxe size figure. And, you know, I'm glad they didn't do a lot of them, because this would tire really, really quick. So it was a nice little gimmick. It was something different in the line. I do appreciate it. I love the color scheme. I love the military vehicles, and it works for me. This might not be everybody's figure to pick up, but if you like combiners, you're definitely going to want to get this little group here. So thanks for watching, guys, and look for more videos in the future.